unfortunately, this book felt like a filler episode between Snow's and Katniss stories. Since readers who have read the other books in the series already know how the Hunger Games go, it can feel a bit repetitive because now this game in this book is the fourth one that the readers can read. I understand that the story of Haymitch is transitional piece between Snow's and Katniss, since you can see how the Hunger Games has evolved after Lucy Gray and Snow. Speaking of Snow, young Snow's story was, I think, way more interesting than the Haymitch one. We can learn about the old Hunger Games and how young Snow turned this game into entertainment. But the Hunger Games that Haymitch had to participate is a bit dull because you already know the evolved system from the Katniss story and you already know the original one from Snow. So it's just more like confirmation from what you already know. So personally, while I was reading this one, I still felt thrilled about the whole system and rules and how the sponsor thing works, but it just felt a bit too repetitive because I already know how it works. I agree that this book gives more depth to Haymitch, but if I think about if this book is really necessary for the whole series, I think this could have been done as a novella. It is interesting to know how he won that game, but at the same time, in Katniss' story, Haymitch is not really a big main character. He is more like a snarky side character that shows how a victor has been treated. Honestly, I'm not sure how the movie version will turn out because while I was reading this book, I didn't really feel that invested like the Snow one. His own story doesn't really put a lot of weight into the original Hunger Games. It's nice to know how he became that kind of person in the original Hunger Games series, but does it really affect a lot in the whole scheme? I don't really think so. On the good notes, his character arc vividly shows how small and helpless one person can feel against a giant system, especially when this big system can destroy absolutely everything that you love. It explained although all the districts have way more people compared to capital, people couldn't really go against the capital because they were afraid that it will kill the people they care about. While the original Hunger Games shows that helplessness can be overcome with a lot of good people and a good strategy, this one shows how cruel the system can be to a one person. And when you really don't feel like you have any kind of agency, what can you really do about it? If you think about it, unlike Katniss in the first Hunger Game, Haymitch didn't have anyone to rely on at the end of the game. Also, another good note is you can see the full hate mode of President Snow. Now he's just going to the extreme. He doesn't care about moral, he doesn't care about humanity, it's just more about power and control. We already knew from the first book because he was going crazy in that one. And now, since he has the whole power to control the country, he is absolutely ruthless. You cannot really give any leeways to President Snow in this book because this one is how he can grab the control of the whole country with propaganda and brute force. Overall, this book felt like a fan service to the Hunger Games fans. The story itself is a good story, but I personally don't think that this was necessary to understand what the author wanted to tell because we have enough materials in the original ones and the prequel about Snow. You can see a lot of characters that will pop up in the original ones or has the connection from the prequel, so you might feel really excited while reading it. But other than feeling that kind of excitement that you already know this character and you already know how this character will affect the story later, I don't really see those surprise characters were more than Easter eggs. My main complaint is that this book feels so similar with the first Hunger Games book. Maybe that's why the ending feels so tragic because you know how different it was for Katniss, but for Haymitch it was a hellhole when he came back after winning the game. So this is how I think about this new book in the Hunger Games series, Sunrise on the Reaping. I hope you enjoyed this video. See you next time. Bye!